starting with part 5 of Europe. We look at Southern Europe. Southern Europe is mainly Roman Catholic, warm, typically dry. The tourism is a very big industry in Southern Europe, and they have more troubles the further south you go. You look at Portugal. Portugal is along the Atlantic coast. Because it's along the Atlantic coast, it has a history of exploration of areas south, west, and also east of there. They settled a lot of Africa and eventually Asia back in the 1400s. They owned Brazil for many years. They're very known for their cork, is one of the big things that they produce in Portugal. Spain, right next door, known for things like bullfighting, but they also grow oranges and olives. And their Spanish culture was what settled in Latin America. Everything from Texas south, actually everything from, they owned part of Mississippi and Florida, and everything south of there at one time, all the way over to California, was owned by Spain at one time. Italy, cute little picture of Italy. Italy's known as the boot because it's shaped like a boot. It's very well known for its Renaissance. Pizza comes from Italy. Spaghetti. The Italian cuisine is very well known because it's really good. A lot of tomatoes and cheese and noodles. It's also known for the mafia, also known as La Cosa Nostra, which was formed as a group of families to protect people from ill-formed and ill-operating government. Rome is the capital city. There's the Colosseum. It was the center of Roman culture back during the Great Roman Empire. At one time, they actually used to fill the Colosseum with water and have like boat battles, like naval battles in the Colosseum. But they'd also have bullfights. They'd have men fighting against men, dramatizations of old battles of past days, and it's just an old Colosseum. Greece, there's Greece right there. It's along the Adriatic and the Aegean. Not Adriatic, the Ionian and the Aegean, I'm sorry. It is the birthplace of democracy, and it may be the downfall of man altogether, because the Greeks have kind of run into some financial trouble by the way their government operated, much worse than how the United States currently is, but they're trying to remedy the situation. The people in Greece aren't really liking the way things are going. The capital city is Athens. There's the Acropolis. There's some of the riots from Greece, as you can see. Greece is in a whole lot of trouble because their debt is so bad compared to how much their country makes in a year. So they have a lot of issues to deal with financially. There's Cyprus. Cyprus is a very small island in the Mediterranean. Half of it is Turkish, half of it is Greek. It has been a bone of contention for 50 years. In Eastern Europe, it was dominated during the Cold War by the Soviet Union, called the Eastern Bloc or the Warsaw Pact countries. It is very new to democracy, and because of that, there are a lot of problems with corruption in government. Black markets, where you can get illegal things, are part of the culture here. One of the major people groups of Eastern Europe are the Gypsies, also called the Roma. These people originated in India, we believe, from the best we can tell. They're relatively poor. They farm. They tell fortunes. They travel in wagons. They don't really get along with other groups. Like, they don't intermarry into other groups. They stick to themselves. They speak a odd language that's different than other languages of the region. They look a little differently. And so sometimes they're treated by governments of that region illy because they look different, act different, and they won't assimilate or join into the governments and participate with the other people in those countries. There's Poland. Capital city is Warsaw. It's known for its industrial might. A lot of people from Poland end up actually moving to the United Kingdom and working there. There's the Czech Republic. Capital is Prague. It's known for its classical music. Slovakia, next door to the Czech Republic, used to be part of the Czech Republic when it was called Czechoslovakia. But in 1989, the Czech Republic and Slovakia split, And so you have two separate countries. Czech Republic is a little more industrial, a little bit more forward. Slovakia is a little bit more backward, more agricultural. The fun thing is they do have a bridge named for Chuck Norris. It's kind of odd. There's Hungary. Capital city is Budapest. The Hungarians speak a language that is not really European. It comes from somewhere over in Central Asia. So they're kind of an odd fit culturally compared to other parts of the world, of Europe. Sorry. There's Romania. Capital city is Bucharest. It's still suffering from some of the effects of being ruled by the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Same thing with Bulgaria. But it has this nice coastline along the Black Sea, so it's a popular tourist destination. Now we look at former Yugoslavia. The former Yugoslavia, which was formed in 1945 and fell apart in the late 80s, early 90s, has 7 major cultural groups. These are different groups that speak different languages with different beliefs, and then 17 minor ones. Now the mountains have kind of kept them separated because this is in the Dinaric Alps, but there have been some major problems. As you can see from this map, this is a map of old Yugoslavia and the different people groups in each place. You can see Slovenia up at the top left in pink, and how the Croats from Croatia are in the gold. But then you have all these people from the Serbs, that kind of lime green color, that are on the right-hand side in Serbia, but also in Bosnia and Herzegovina. But then you have the Bosniaks, which are the Muslims. You have some Albanians, you have Montenegrins, you have Macedonians, and they all speak different languages, have different beliefs. So you have all these different problems with people trying to get along in one country. So in 1989, when Yugoslavia started falling apart, you had people fighting for control. And one of those people was Slobodan Milosevic. And he was the leader of what was left of Serbia, the heart of Yugoslavia. What he started doing is he started killing off people who weren't Serbs. He continued what was called ethnic cleansing, the cleaning out, the killing of people of a specific group. Much like Hitler killed a lot of Jews, Slobodan killed a lot of people who were non-Serbs. Here is Slovenia. Slovenia is beautiful. It's fared the best out of any of the former Yugoslavian countries because it's further away from all the fighting. There's Croatia. Croatia is known for its basketball and its tennis players. They do very well in international fields. It's also quite beautiful, as you can see. Bosnia and Herzegovina has been the center of fighting in the mid-90s, and the U.S. actually sent troops to kind of keep the peace in Bosnia because of what was going on. This city right here is interesting because on the right-hand side you see Muslim mosque, but on the left-hand side you see is Christian. So they live in this city together, and this city has been kind of a symbol of Bosnia, how two different cultures, Christian and Muslim, can actually get along in one place, and this bridge is a symbol of how that can be done. And then we have Serbia, which is the heart of old Yugoslavia. A lot of Serbs live here, but it's still falling apart too. One of the newer countries is Kosovo. Kosovo was just formed in 2010. It was sectioned off from a part of Serbia, but it's ethnically Albanian. The people here speak Albanian, but they have a history with Serbia, so they don't really want to join with Albania. They just want to be their own country, and so they are. So the United Nations kind of cut a little snippet off of Serbia, and here's what you get. And Montenegro is another beautiful tourist destination. And then we have the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, which is a mouthful to say, but that's the official name of the country, because Macedonia is also a region of Greece, and so the Greeks have complained for years that Macedonia, the name Macedonia, belongs to them. So this country had to go with the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia as their title. And then there's Albania, the poorest country in Europe. It's communist. It's also heavily Muslim and very rural. A lot of people farm in Albania. There are a lot of microstates such as Andorra, Monaco, the Vatican City, and San Marino, and Liechtenstein. That's Monaco. That map, the yellow drawn there, that's the whole country of Monaco. That's it. It's that small. Europe has been resurgent in recent times in world influence as the U.S. has kind of been sick or ill, as you can see from the political cartoon. Europe has been pretty good. Now, Greece, Spain, Portugal have been, and Ireland have economically kind of hurt Europe, and you can read that in chapter 4 of your book. You can see that in there. But Europe is still pretty snug in where it's at. The one problem is Europe is heavily dependent on oil, and their oil comes from Russia. So if Russia cuts off their oil supply, they're in deep trouble. And a couple of years ago, Russia did that for a little while. And so a lot of Europeans were getting really cold because they didn't have any oil to burn to make electricity so that they could heat their homes. Also, there's a major issue with xenophobia, the fear of other people who aren't like you. Muslims or people from Turkey, Russia, the Ukraine, places outside of really Central Europe are kind of viewed as outsiders in Europe and treated that way many times. Nationalism is another big movement where a lot of people are pushing or trying to break up Europe so that their little people group is represented. Here on the left you see a picture of Basque country, which is a part of Spain and France, but they speak a different language. It's not Spanish or French. And so they've armed themselves to try to break away from Spain. Here's a language map of Europe. You can kind of see that there are a lot of languages in Europe. And so it's kind of hard to get along with understanding what other people are saying. Thank goodness the lingua franca, English, is widely spoken throughout the region. So that's it for this slide, for this presentation. Hope you enjoyed it.